What's up, y'all? So we're gonna do another build video, a long in-depth video. I got some really good feedback on the other video. So we're gonna do basically the same concept build where I'm gonna go through, kind of share some tricks and tips and stuff that I do and that I've done and that I've picked up over the years and share it with you guys. And you know, in the comments, you'll get other info from other people and stuff like that. I really like the way that video did. So we're gonna do another one, but this one we're gonna do some forging instead of just the stock removal basic build. So I'm gonna dig through the metal bucket over there, find something kind of cool that we can use and light the forge. Okay, let's see, we got okay, cool. Here's a piece of 1084. It's kind of thick, which with forging stuff you want some thick. Let's throw this in the fire. This will work. Okay, so while the forge is heating up, I'm going to sketch up a rough kind of design. I like to sketch and kind of plan my build. Some people don't, some people just kind of wing it, which is whatever works for you. So I'm gonna sketch it up, I'm gonna probably trace the material on a piece of paper, kind of get some measurements and just kind of fiddle through it and figure out, you know, a simple build that we can do. All right, so we're looking at, it is about 5 3/4 long, little over, it's probably about 1.5 inches the original material, but it has a little bit of a belly forged into it. So I think we can take this here, do a set down and kind of draw out a tang. What I'll probably do is just mush the material that way first, get a little bit of length out of it, and then we'll go from there. I'm gonna forge on it with the hammer a lot, but to break down the material, I'm probably gonna use the press also. We'll see. We're gonna play it by ear. So I'm thinking, let's see if we can pull out something about 8 inches, give or take, 7, 8 inches overall length. So we'll give ourselves a little mark here, a little mark there, kind of ballpark where your hand's gonna be. And let's just say a simple little drop point hunter, something like that. Kind of along the lines of what we did for the other build. That'll kind of give us a rough, yeah, about 4. I think we can pull that out of this. We've got plenty of material, so let's do that. I missed. All right, so we're coming up at temperature. We want a nice even heat, especially when you're moving thicker stuff. A lot of the issues people have is they want to swing the hammer. You want to swing the hammer just as hard as they can possibly swing it, and the majority of the time, if the steel isn't really wanting to move and stuff like that, it's not really, let me back up. If you have a proper anvil or something that you're using as an anvil that's mounted right and all that stuff, and you're using a decent size hammer, 2.5, 3 pounds is fine. If your steel isn't moving, it's probably not hot enough. You don't want to get it like forge welding temperature to move steel, because some steels don't like being too hot, and it depends on what you're using. This is 1084. It is the easiest steel in the world to work with. It's not the best steel, but it'll work. So we're gonna get it a nice even heat. We're gonna move it under the hammer. Once it starts to cool down, get into those dull red colors, we're gonna go back in the fire. It's not gonna move unless it's hot. So we're gonna, and let me say again, filming here, I live in Texas. We have no clouds. We have one, but the camera is gonna show the steel probably as black when it's actually still a good red color. Use your eye. You know, you'll feel it moving. If it's moving, if it's not, it's not. You know, you have to do this to understand what we're talking about. So, let's take a heat. I'm doing is just processing the steel down and dressing it. I'm trying to mush it this way and then mush it that way to get a nice even thickness, because right now we're way thicker on what's going to be the tang than what's going to be the blade. So we're just trying to process it down until we can get a nice preform. So a preform is a rough shape of the knife, basically thicker and shorter and compact in all dimensions. Preform is where you're going to start forging the knife from. You can get your tip in there, you can kind of get where your handle and stuff transition is going to be, handle shape and all that stuff, but it's going to be shorter and thicker than it's eventually going to be. And then from there, you just kind of mash it all out. Think of like pizza dough. You mush it into a ball, you let it sit, and then you slowly roll it out until you get the shape you want. Kind of. Your preform matters. Preform is everything, especially when you're doing like chef knives or like buoys or something like that that has a very specific shape that you're going for. You know, this shape is kind of simple 4-inch drop point hunter, nothing major, nothing crazy difficult about it. Preform helps though. We're gonna mush it down, get a nice even piece of material, roughly even thicknesses and stuff like that. And then I'm gonna show you with the different peens and use different hammers and different techniques and spots on the anvil and stuff to work that material down by hand. If you don't have a straight peen or you don't have a cross peen and you're using like a ball peen hammer, the edge of the anvil can be used as a peen. This hammer, when you hit it, the steel is going to move that way. With the face, if you hit it, it's going to move in every direction away from the hammer. If you're using a cross peen, the steel is going to move that way. Okay, so different hammers do different stuff, and the anvil will do the same thing. If you hang it off the edge of the anvil and you forge on it, the anvil is going to act like this peen, and it's going to draw your material in a linear direction. The horn also works. If you don't have an anvil, there's a lot of things. I've seen people go to like steel suppliers and get drops of whatever. You don't need a really big forging face. A 3-inch by 3-inch square or railroad tracks work. But honestly, for the money, the little red Doyle anvil from Harbor Freight, it's like 130 bucks. It is the best bang for your buck that is on the market for anvils today. I have one, I bought one, seen some reviews. I have another anvil over there, but the face on it's a little rough. It's bigger and it's heavier, but this anvil, for 130 bucks, it's cast steel. It works like a charm. It's awesome. The horn is great. It's got a hardy hole and a pritcher hole. It's cheap and it works. So they're out there. But like I said, there's tons of options. Use what you have, and eventually, as you're doing it, you'll kind of figure out, okay, this tool isn't working. I'm a little bit past using this. I need to upgrade. As you do it, you'll learn. You'll know what you need to upgrade as you go. You don't have to have a $10,000 shop to do this. You need a way to cut steel, a way to drill a hole, a way to heat treat. If you're forging, you could get literally, this is one of my favorite hammers. This is a rake handle. A rake broke. I shaped it down, found this ball peen hammer. I think it was in a bed of an old truck or something like that a friend of mine bought. I put it in there. I use this hammer all the time. I cleaned the face up on the grinder, took the hard edges off and stuff like that. Alex Steele has a video on how to turn a Harbor Freight cross peen into the best forging hammer that you can do for $25. So it's out there. If you want to do it bad enough, you'll put the time into it, do a little bit of research, ask questions, figure it out. We're going to take a heat. And hang it off the far side of the anvil, half on, half off blows, meaning I'm going to hit about here, half on, half off, and it's going to draw that steel out. You can do that, use the horn, whatever you got. Push it down and dress it. Another thing, accuracy is more important than hitting it hard. Like I said before, if it's not moving, you're probably not hot enough. I mean, you can't love tap it. We're moving steel. We're making steel do something that it does not want to do. But at the same time, if you see people swinging this hammer as hard as they possibly can, they're probably going to miss. They're probably going to hit their anvil, chip the anvil, piece of this tool still chips off and goes in your leg. All bad. Accuracy is more important. Work on accuracy and slowly, progressively start hitting the steel harder and harder, and practice. Do it. Use the hammer. Forge every day. Find an excuse to make it your #1 priority. It's not that bad. It's an addicting habit, honestly. I don't recommend doing it in Texas or Florida because it's warm. So yeah, but I dig it. So this forge scale that builds up on your anvil, get it out of there. What it's going to do is two things. It's going to imprint in the bottom of your steel, cause marks and stuff that are hard to get out later on. And if that forge scale pops up and hits you in the face, because it's going to hit you in the eye, it's not a good day. A cheap brush works. I blow the anvil off quite a bit. It's just a habit, just real quick. It kind of gets it out of there. You know, in between forging, because you don't want to put your hammer down. You're racing the heat. So do one more heat. As long as you're keeping your anvil relatively clean and your material relatively clean, once you get down thinner, it's more important, but getting there. Getting to a rough preform. So we're really thick now. I've mushed it down so that steel has upset itself, and now it's really thick. I've basically just compacted it down. So now take a few heats and draw it out, get some length out of it, and go from there. So at this point, there's a lot more steel there than I need to do this little 8-inch knife. We can do two things. We can either on the fly make an adjustment, build a bigger knife, or we could forge. I like to forge from the tip back, do my set down, forge the blade, forge the tang, and then whatever's left over after forging, you can cut off and dress on the grinder. It really just depends on what you want to do. For the sake of this build, I'm probably just going to forge a bigger knife, maybe like a camp knife, maybe like a 6-7 inch blade camp knife, long, straight, kind of same profile, but a little bit longer blade, just for the sake of being able to forge more. I don't want to forge really thin and do a stock removal because we already did that. So I'm going to take a heat real quick and continue on. We're getting there. Okay, so what you're seeing me do now is I have that thickness, and I'm using, like we talked about, the straight peen to stretch that thick. If I keep hitting it with this, it's just going to keep getting wider and longer and wider and longer. And I'm keep dressing it, keep having to dress it. So what I'm doing is taking that thickness and I'm stretching it lengthways. I'm using this peen to stretch it lengthways, and you can do that over the edge of the anvil. You can do it on the horn. I've seen the guillotine tools. You put your metal in there and you hit the top of the guillotine and it pushes it out, which is essentially what that does, but with this instead of this. So use what you got. Okay, so this is pretty much our preform. I'm gonna mess with the blade just a little bit more. We're still really thick, which is good. I'm gonna clean this up a little bit, kind of dress the blade a little bit, move the tip back where it's supposed to be, and start working from here to get our shape. So take one more heat and kind of dress it and get everything a little bit closer to where we're gonna be, and then as we forge, we'll keep dressing it and going back to that shape. What I'm doing here is, it's a dull red now, you can't see on the camera, it looks black, but I'm taking a little bit lower heat passes and using less force to kind of just planish out some of those hammer marks and clean everything up and get it nice and getting it ready. We're getting in the finishing stage of forging, so we're trying to clean everything up and get it ready for some thermal cycles. So we talked about thermal cycles in the stock removal build video. In this video, the thermal cycles are going to be even more important because right now, forging, we've been getting kind of hot and we're growing the grain. So think of like sand. When you want to build a sandcastle, you want that really fine sand. It's stronger, it's less brittle, versus if you had really fine sand compacted together in like fish tank rock size gravel. It doesn't have as much tensile strength, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So after we get kind of done forging, we're going to take 2 or 3 heats at a pretty warm red, not quite an orange, and let it slowly cool to kind of relax the steel from forcing it around and making it do what it doesn't want to do. So right now we're still in the forging aspect of it, but I wanted to touch on thermal cycles a little bit more, especially after we forged this knife from that weird shape of whatever it was to now it's a knife shaped object because it isn't heat treated yet. So after this, I'm going to go over some thermal cycles. I'm going to try to get the camera to where you can actually see the colors and stuff like that. If not, Knife Steel Nerds YouTube channel. There's a bunch of information on there. Dr. Laren Thomas is like the knife steel guru. He is awesome. Everything you need to know on a scientific level of why we do it, how it's done, and what it does. Like if you want information on that more in depth, because I don't know it, that's where you get it. Knife Steel Nerds YouTube channel. It's amazing. So there was a good example of planishing heat. So without touching these really hot tongs, a little bit lower heat, a little bit of light hammer blows, very nice forge finish. So now we're going to do that on the blade, and we're going to start doing thermal cycles. Our first thermal cycle is it's a dull red. Anything above like a dull red, when you start getting to the oranges and all that stuff, you're actually growing grain. So you want to come in at a dull red, nice even heat, and let it slowly cool down. And as it does that, the grain is going to compact and shrink and stuff like that. So make sure you're nice and straight. Any like finish work and stuff, this is where you're going to do it. So just gonna clean it up, pretty straight there, and just let it cool slow. Do about 2 or 3 of these, and we'll throw it in the forge. The forge is really hot right now. Throw it in the forge, shut the forge door, and let it cool down really, really slow as the forge cools down, and it'll soften that steel up. It's called annealing. You can do it with kilns and stuff like that. So we'll use what you got. You know the trick. But we're gonna do this 2 or 3 times. I'm not gonna film it. It's like watching paint dry. But after that, we're gonna pop it in the forge, let it cool down slow. Okay. I didn't actually anneal it. I just did a couple thermal cycles and let it kind of cool off, so I could talk about some things that I did to give you a little bit more information. So when I sat down for the tang, when I forged this in, you see me kind of changing my angle. The reason we change our angle is because the more you angle it, the more aggressive the corner of that anvil is going to push in there. And then as you push in and you get that really aggressive set down, you can start rotating your knife back and pushing that set down further back, cleaning it up. Something I also did was, you seen me go like this and start forging on the knife. So when I'm doing that, I'm using the corner, my hammer, to come in there and basically do the same exact thing that the anvil is doing, but from forging from this side, I'm taking that bow out of the spine of the knife that I put into it by hitting it here and bending it over. So you kind of do the back and forth kind of deal with it there. So just wanted to kind of throw that in there. Cool little trick tip. But that's what we got. I gotta grind some of this out to kind of make the handle fit better and stuff, but as forged, that's not bad, especially from a piece of scrap that we found in the bucket that was probably never going to be anything. Okay, so I'm probably gonna round the video off there. The last video took forever to upload, and it takes up a lot of room, like storage space and stuff, to have 3 hours worth of filming and then edit an hour-long video. Gotta hydrate. Good old agua. So yeah, we're gonna let it anneal, and then in a couple hours it should be good to pull out of there. And then from there, as far as for grinding and stuff like that, you can resort to the other video, which I'll probably do in the related videos of this video. From there, you'll do your bevel grinding, profiling, all that stuff, drilling tang holes, fitting up the handle, all that stuff is in that other video. So anyways, I appreciate y'all for coming to hang out. If you enjoyed it, have any questions, you know where it's at down there in the comments. Drop them, say what's up, ask questions. Other than that, if you aren't subscribed, subscribe. Helps the channel out. Costs $0, and we do giveaways sometimes. Probably this knife or the other knife we did or whatever. I might just do another build, do a giveaway. So if you are interested in that, all you gotta do is be part of the channel. Drop a comment, say what's up, come hang out, drop some information, ask a question, do what you do. Appreciate y'all.